would like to speak about what we could call a kind of collective intelligence game, or what is a social knowledge management cycle. Here I am describing the interaction between the personal knowledge management cycles. And this interaction can be described by three movements. I will begin by the third, the circular. As you can see on the slide, there is a conversation that is happening between the people. This is the circle. This is the civilized, creative conversation. I say civilized because if it is not civilized, you don't learn. So you are not going to insult anybody, and when you are expressing one view, you are trying to argue in a rational way, or you are trying to point to data or to sources. So you are trying to be to prove your point, okay? And other people also are going to try to prove their points. Okay? This is a civilized conversation. And in this civilized conversation, we are all helping each other. Okay? It is a reciprocal social process where we help other people to learn and where other people help us to learn. Sometimes in a critical way, or sometimes in sending us positive feedback, or directing our attention toward something that we didn't know, and so on. The other movement, and another movement, is the centripetal movement. Here I mean, I am going from a situation where I don't know, or maybe I know something but in an implicit way. I know this in my reflexes, in my body, in my habits, but I cannot explain, I cannot share it, I cannot transmit. So I work to make this implicit knowledge explicit, and to put this explicit knowledge into a common memory, something that can be shared. Okay, and this is what is at the center of the. So maybe I can. Go here. You see the outside of the circle, it is black. This means that it is either ignorance or implicit knowledge. Inside the circle, it is white. It is some. It is emitting light. Okay, because it is something that can be received by everybody. So you have on the circle people working to augment the common memory by creating software, of course open source software, by creating tools, by creating platforms, but also by adding data, and of course metadata. The metadata are about the categorization, the classification, the organization of this memory. And not only the categorization, but also the assessment, the evaluation. Is it good? Is it useful? Is it relevant? Or is it not relevant, not interesting, not useful? Everybody is participating to the construction of this common memory. So this was the second movement, centripetal. And the third movement is centrifugal, because ultimately the goal of this common memory is to help people, individuals, persons to learn, okay, and to incorporate the knowledge such as the knowledge becomes implicit. It becomes in the body, in the reflexes, in the habits of the people. So you have this direction and this direction, and all this is working because of the collective learning that is using a civilized, creative conversation. So this is the general rule of the collective intelligence game, okay? Or the general rule of the collective learning, and that all learning is collective anyway. So this is the theory. This is what we should do. And you see that it is completely independent from any platform. It's a process. It's a kind of cognitive process. But this way of functioning is not so easy, because we have a lot of separations that prevent us of having a common explicit memory, because we use, in our multimedia data, we use different languages, as we can see now. And even worse, we use different semantic metadata systems. It is as if in one library, instead of having one cataloging system, you have 10,000 different and incompatible cataloging systems. So the library is a mess. And this is the current situation on the internet. So how can we achieve a really efficient social knowledge management? Or what could be the very abstract platform of the future collective intelligence games? So this is the way I see the evolution of the digital medium. As you can see, the first layer is occupied by the very notion of computer. Okay. First, we need automatic symbol manipulators. This is the basis of the digital medium. And these automatic symbol manipulators are based on the addressing systems of the bits inside the long-term memory of the machines. Okay. I mean the hard disks. What is managed by the operating systems. Every bit has a precise address. And the computer is taking the bits, transforming them, and then replacing them in the memory. This is the basic process of the automatic symbol manipulation. This is the first step. And it has been achieved in the 50s of the last century. The second step is the networking of all the computers, the networking of all the automatic symbol manipulators. This networking has, of course, a hardware aspect, but for me the most important is the abstract software aspect, and this is the addressing system of the network, and the addressing system of the network is the Internet protocol. So the basis of the Internet is an addressing system that gives a precise address to each computer, okay? And then all the computer can exchange data. And they can behave as a kind of society of computers working to the service of the society of humans, of course. At the time where the Internet became the common addressing system of all the computers, there was also another transformation. The computers became more and more little, and it was the emergence of the personal computing. So at the same time, there was personal computing and interaction between all the computers. And so the Internet became potentially or virtually the new medium. Okay. The third layer is also a layer of addressing. But this time, it is not the addressing of the bits, it is not the addressing of the computers, it is the addressing of the documents, of the pages, of the data. And this is the invention of the World Wide Web. You see that the web is one layer above the Internet. And the addressing system is called the HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And it is because every page has an address that you can draw a link between one page and another page, okay? Without this addressing system of the pages, you cannot hypertextualize all the data that are in the Internet. So this is a very important step. And from this step, there was the creation of the global multimedia public sphere that we are currently experiencing. But we still have problems. The collective intelligence is still not as efficient that it could be. That's why, and here I'm going to speak about the future, I think that I think that the digital medium is not completely achieved. You have seen that each layer emerged at one particular time. It's an evolutive process, okay? And each layer takes advantage of the presence, the existence of the preceding layers. And I don't see why this will stop. Okay. So I think that there will be another layer. And I think that the next layer will be an addressing system of the concepts, not of the data, of the metadata, of the meaning of the data, of the way we organize or we classify or we categorize the data. Okay. And it can be, this next layer can be useful only if it is a universal addressing system, of course.